being live stream, and I think that we're live. So, Jules,
Hi. Hey, Rania.
live. Hello, Jules. Okay, let me just double check that
Mm.
it's streaming on the Facebook. Okay, cool. We are live right now. Amazing.
Yeah,
How are you doing today, love?
I'm good. Well, hello, everyone who's joining us. If you're catching this on the replay or you're catching this live, just go ahead and put in the comments how you are. Give us a 1 to 10, 10 being maximum awesome and 1 being just kind of flat right now. And such a building block of our conversation today around what it's like to actually step outside. And I was sharing with you, Rania, right before I got on, I had just come out of this 4-day vocal retreat and got powered to the presence of being in a retreat setting, but also the power of the presence of what it's like to feel my own contraction at the end of that and my own energy. And by just looking at some of those practices, I did yoga, sound bowl, meditation, and I'm like ready to rock again. And so I think that's such the work and the beauty of being able to have context for the work, which is why I'm excited about our chat for today.
Beautiful, love. All right, so those of you who are joining in live, let us know where in the world you are tuning in from and how you're doing today. I feel personally peaceful and cozy is where I'm at today. And so Jules and I wanted to come on live here on the 22nd of March and share a new creation that just emerged very spontaneously. And so I just sent out an email to my list saying that we're creating another retreat in Europe for the summer. And no, it's not the Ecstatic Awakening that I've been sharing about already. But it's a new creation that's a collaboration with Unconventional Life as well as Humans I Trust. It's going to do kind of like a sister tag team trip together with us. But so we'll just get right to it and just we're going to jump into some story time, but we just want to let you know right away because we're very excited about this experience. And so imagine 5 days on a super yacht on the Mediterranean Sea. And so we're talking stepping onto the yacht in one place and then cruising around and going into different restaurants in different places and docking in different places. And basically a week together with amazing creators from all over the world doing breathwork, having DJ parties, having creation sessions, having these amazing mastermind sessions. And it's all spearheaded by Jules Schroeder, creator of Unconventional Life. And before we go into the story time, Jules, is there anything that you want to say about the gist of this adventure?
Yeah, well, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Unconventional Life events, they are these powerful life and business accelerators that all got birthed about 6 years ago from a near-death experience that I had, and literally a vision of seeing 30 entrepreneurs gathering, and the word Bali came out of my mouth. And it was within 7 weeks that the first event got created. And we have done events now in 6 different continents, from castle towns in Italy to islands in Madagascar to, safaris in South Africa, Bali. And I know, Rania, you've been on several of these escapades. And what they've been is they have been, I call them micro pattern interrupts, where if you feel like there's something brewing inside of you and you're not able to quite touch it yet, or there's this like knowing or this nagging feeling or this even this pregnant feeling that something wants to come out, I find these events are catalysts for clarity, where they literally give voice to that what you don't know that you don't know that you feel, to come out and have the space to accelerate. And when you have a collective intention for 5 days in your life with that, I find things move at quantum speed. And I had the pleasure of actually going to Croatia last October. A dear friend of mine hit me up like right when COVID was like starting to peak again. And I was like, I have this super yacht. Do you want to bring a bunch of friends? And I'm getting it at like, 30 grand less than it would be. And within 3 weeks, we had our first Croatia yacht trip. It was just like a friend's event. And there are moments that I had on that yacht. First of all, the Mediterranean, if you're not familiar, the salt content of the water, the pure amplifier of just being in that water and the intention with the islands and the sea and all of that, plus the connection. And this is like the yacht experience, like it's like Michelin star food, like there's a hot tub on board, there's all kinds of pool toys, like it's its own whole adventure, just the yacht. But when you put those variables together, something activated in me that I felt like went dormant in the COVID era. Like there was like a huge death and transition that had happened. And I felt like I was literally rebirthed in being in that water and coming out. And so Ronnie and I, a few weeks ago, I was hosting this intuitive action challenge, came on board, and same guy texted me again and it's like, hey, I have these super yachts and do you want them? And they're happening in like 6 weeks. And I tuned in. I was like, hell yeah, I want them. And here we are birthing this event. And it's going to be for a group of 30. We've got, we're already halfway full. We just literally launched it last week. And so it's our new creation. And I get excited for those that choose it, and especially those that are ready to experience their own rebirth and their accelerator. And the last thing I'll say is this is such the year for me of velocity, about focused momentum, about taking all of the pieces that you've been gathering and deploying them in an efficient and consistent way. And I think more than ever, we've been juiced up and now we juice out. And we do that through the reflections of each other, but we also do that with the right intentions of our physical environment to take that which we're creating and bring that into form. And I can't think of a better way with like ocean, salt content, humans, people, breath, tools, all the fun magicness. So
Beautiful, Jules. Just breathing all of that in. I love that you spoke about the water because this is one of the things that I feel when I'm feeling into the potentiality of this retreat. This is one of the things that I feel the most inspired about and excited about is being on the Mediterranean Sea. So both you and I lead retreats in amazing places in nature all over the world. Like you said, I've been a part of several unconventional life retreats now in Bali, in Madagascar, in Morocco. There's so many stories we could tell about these retreats, but we're going to focus on Croatia right now. But the thing is that this one is the first one that's taking place on a boat on the water. And I feel excited about both being on the water and being in the water. And this, in a way, leads me into so there's in a way this could be a 3 hour thing in and of itself just surrounding the stories of my experiences in Croatia before. And I love, Jules, how you have this uncanny ability to pick locations where there's a really strong connection for me already, as well as a potency of time. And so I want to speak about the first and second time that I was in Croatia and how this now lines up to be the third time that I'm coming to this amazing, beautiful country around the Mediterranean. So the first time that I was in Croatia was the summer that was the most difficult time of my entire life. And I'm not going to go into the entire story of what happened before. This is something that, for those of you who know me, you've most likely heard the story either face to face in person or in a retreat or maybe in a live stream where I share a bit more in depth. But the summer of 1998, when I had just turned 12 years old, and my sister who was 18 at the time, she was murdered in my bedroom. She was raped and stabbed and strangled, and my father found her the next day, and I also saw her afterwards. And it's if you've experienced something like this, you know that there are no words that could possibly even come close to the actual just universal implosion, panic, fear, just the full terror of the experience. And so my sister had just died, and we were in the midst of looking for, well, we weren't looking for the guy who killed her, but the police was, and it was this huge thing in Sweden. And basically we were in this place where reality was so dense and so filled with terror and panic and fear that we just felt, me and my family, we just felt like we just need a moment of beauty and breath and sunshine and away from everything. Like, the police is doing their thing, like we just need to extract for a moment so we can breathe. We just need to extract for a moment so that we can remember the beauty of life. And even in the midst of this was the most intense contrast, in the sense of this intense fear and this intense beauty of coming to Croatia. And so me and my dad and my godmother and her son and my cousins, my aunt and uncle and their two children, two of my cousins, we went to a small village called Moćnička Draga in Croatia. I pronounce it Moćnička Draga, in Croatia, and spent 2 weeks there. And it was the most beautiful balm for my soul at this point when I was 12. And just I remember some of the most beautiful memories. That's the dichotomy of it. It's like the most horrendous experience and simultaneously some of the most beautiful memories of my childhood were in this village in Croatia. And remembering being in the water, in the salt water, and snorkeling and diving and finding these glimmering seashells and purest water I've seen. Maybe that, as well as some very remote islands in Thailand before it got
Yeah.
open. But it's like the clearest water, pristine blue, perfect temperature. It's like every
Mhm.
day is like paradise. It's just
Yeah.
when you watch like one of these movies like Mamma Mia or something that takes place in the Mediterranean, you're like, it can't really be that idyllic in real life, but it is, and it was so profound and so beautiful to be there. And ever since I was there, I wanted to go back.
Mhm.
Jump cut to 5 years later. And also, again, here, I'm not going to go into the full story. You can ask me or we'll talk about it another time. But basically, the first 5 years after my sister died was just continuous fear, panic, suicide attempts, just the darkest night of my entire life. That was for the first 5 years. And probably thought that I would never be happy again in my entire life. And then when I was 17, I had an awakening experience that still I can't quite explain to this day, but I had an experience of it was a very powerful dream that I had, and the next morning when I woke up, I felt like my entire perception and experience of reality had shifted. And if you've had an experience like this, then you know what I'm talking about. But basically, the way I can describe it is that it felt like waking up and feeling like I was bathing in love. It was literally like waking up and there was a vibration in the air, a presence of a love and a benevolence. Later, I would describe this as a feeling of source or God or the divine or the universal love that holds everything that I had never felt before, but I had a sense that this has always been here. I just have never been aware of it before. But
Yeah.
it felt like a dropping from 5 years of fear into just the deepest love that I had experienced in my entire life, and my entire worldview shifted. And that was the moment that sent me on the path of everything that I've done since then, with all the work that I done. Like the same summer I started breathwork, tantra, trauma release, healing. I walked on fire for the first time that summer. There was like this explosion of consciousness that happened. And I think just a couple of weeks again after this shift had happened, we were going to Croatia for the second time in my life. So the first time was right after the most traumatic turning point in my life, and the second time of going to Croatia was right after the most beautiful turning point in my life that changed everything. And a few days before went to Croatia, this was at this time it was me and my father and his wife. We were going to go together to Croatia, and just a few days before we went to Croatia, we found out that my dad's wife was pregnant with my little brother, who was my first half siblings. Now I have a little brother and a little sister, but basically we went and we had just found out that my dad's wife was pregnant with my brother, and so obviously she couldn't like eat all the delicious seafood. She was just like nauseous all the time and didn't want to like eat anything other than like salad and French fries. But basically it was like I had just had my first big awakening, not the only one at this point, but my first big one. She was pregnant with my brother, who is turning 18 next week.
Wow. Ooh, chills.
He's coming here to
A
Austin. I
whole
gave him
cycle.
a trip to Austin. So right now I can just kind of show around here. So like right now we're here on the 22nd floor in our new apartment here in downtown Austin. And my brother has never been to the United States. He was born, I left Sweden 2 years after he was born, so I've just been the big sister who is always in new countries. And he's like, country are you in now? And he's like, when I get older, I want to travel with you. So his 18th birthday coming up now, and just a week from now, 6 days from today. Um, Basically gave him a trip to Austin. So he's going to be with us here the second week of April, and we're going to do all the cool things with him. But anyways, he was in the womb the second time I was in Croatia, and now he's turning 18. And this time, to bring it on home back to this yacht trip, I'm going to be for 10 days alone in darkness, in pitch black darkness for 10 days in Mexico, just before going to Croatia. So I will go to Mexico for 2 weeks, have 10 days in darkness, which is a whole other thing that I can tell more about, but this is not the topic of today. But basically, I will be alone, 10 days in darkness, go very deep into meditation, and then I'll come back here for less than a week to kind of integrate and regroup. And then Gabriel and I are going to Croatia to meet up with Jules and the whole Humans I Trust crew, and Virginia Salas Castillo and Jonathan Berry and Gabriel and Jules and her partner Adam, and so many amazing people. And this is the thing, is like the two first times I went to Croatia, it's not that I had a huge breakthrough in Croatia, but I had a huge breakthrough before. And then the Croatia experiences were just the most nourishing, the most beautiful. And so I'm curious about this, going from the darkness retreat into a yacht trip. But this is also what we wanted to speak about here, is that, and I'm curious what your feeling is on this, Jules, to bring it back to this retreat that we're creating, that we're co-creating from the 7th to the 11th of May in Croatia on the Mediterranean Sea, is this incredible value of, even when, and especially when there is intense chaos happening in our lives and in the world with everything that is happening right now, the value of nourishment and inspiration and beauty, and remembering the beauty of life and being together, and being together in a space of inspiration where we can be the solution and we can live the solution and we can up level together and co-create and help each other out and come up with these crazy ideas that can change the game for the entire world, or for our world that we live in. And so it's funny to speak about this trip, because as with anytime we, so to speak, like promote a retreat, we talk about the experience, but the truth is that we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we have an idea of what's going to happen, and then every single time the magic of what actually occurs surpasses the expectation and the plan. And so I'm going to leave it at that. Let us know in the comments. Okay, cool. Let me see here. Oliver, I'm up to. Let's cruise to my home. Nice. Beautiful. Sounds amazing. Okay, cool. Some
Yeah.
okay, beautiful comments here in the chat. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jules.
Yeah, and we'll put the link too, and it's you can check it out at unconventionallifeshow.com/Croatia. If you are in Ronja's community, you actually can go ahead and click the link, and there's a link to directly register. And just if you're a part of her community, you're able to do that. And if you have questions, you're welcome to submit your application, and then one of our team members or myself will come talk to you about those questions. And one of the things that I love about what you're saying in the beauty, and I think for me it's like stepping outside, that there's what you don't know that you don't know, and it actually requires stepping outside of what's been there in order for it to come into focus. And I think so many of us have been in this deep listening. There has been a resorting into a higher calibration of alignment in our life in so many ways, both known and unknown. And this is the moment where you actually get to land the planes. Like the work that you've been doing, you get to land those results and the integration in your life. And one of the best ways I find is doing that is like actually taking a step outside. And I remember being there in October and just having this moment, like standing on the top like level of this yacht, literally just about to jump off into the ocean. And just the sense of freedom and peace and trust and the validation of all that I'd been doing. I had to step out to hear. I had to step out to hear. And in that process, things started to move. Literally, I went in a fundraising spree. I got clear on real estate. We raised, enough money to close on $6 million worth of properties that we did last few weeks. So my whole real estate business has also been going. But there was what I thought I was going to go there for. And as you said, what actually went there for. And I think the fact that you'll be in darkness before literally coming into light is so fitting for all of us in this era. And I would say that if you're sitting in that something, this is the place to really see that something and to really move that something. And now is the moment. Like there is a current, and come be, got the chills, in the wave, in the water current, and let that current move you through.
Amazing. Beautiful. Everyone,
Yeah.
bring your swim clothes. I mean, who knows if there's going to be some skinny dipping at some point, but just like bring your clothes that you can just feel in the sun with, that you can just feel the breeze with, that you can just feel amazing with. And what I love about all these retreats again is that the actual magic surpasses the expectation, and the creations that come out of it you know, whatever you feel that is in the field, that is about, that is like making its way into your consciousness
Mm,
and making its way into your awareness such that you can channel this and bring this into the world. This is what I'm feeling is going to be true for most
yeah.
of the people, if not everyone, who joins the Unconventional Life trip in Croatia and the Mediterranean, is that it will be an avenue for a very effortless and expansive birthing of the next expanded creation that is coming through you, as well as the next expanded version of you and the next you that you're currently downloading. And so
Yeah. So good. Yeah. So May 7th through the 11th, we've got a super yacht that has 18 cabins in it. A lot of them already claimed. There's still maybe one or two single cabins. So if you want your own room, now's the moment to get on it. 5 days, 4 nights. We will be starting off in a beautiful port town, sailing through some incredible islands, swimming, playing, all the things. And then the facilitators, Ronja will be there along with Gabriel. I've got some dear friends, Alex and Michael Sean, who you know, who I don't even think I've told you they're going to come and facilitate. And they have been doing some incredible work. I mean, Alex's background was like a high record label, and then Michael Sean got into regenerative futurist stuff, and they actually were the film directors of this movie We Rise Up. And so they worked a lot with, you know, some pretty influential leaders of our time, and they'll be coming as well, along with another dear friend, Isabel. So we'll cover the spectrum from breath to business, wealth creation, how to activate prosperity in your life, and then how to create that momentum and that alignment in a way that ripples, but in a way that moves. And so this is the velocity of the experience. So check it out, unconventionallifeshow.com/Croatia. I imagine now that we're actually sharing about this, we'll probably fill out the rest of the spots pretty soon. So if this is resonating, then yeah, go put an application in, or you can go ahead and register directly if you're already in Ronja's community.
And so when you go to that link, unconventionallifeshow.com/Croatia, you will see videos from previous retreats. You'll feel the vibe of the entire, you can see the flow of the days and all of that. And then at some point in the page, there will be a button where you can click on to get the PDF with more details. And this one has the entire itinerary, exactly where we're going to dock. It has more information. You can see the photos from inside the yacht. And so this one has a much more inside behind the scenes of the actual, this specific experience. And so I would advise you to both go to the website as well as click to view the PDF, because that's where you can see all of the details in depth about this entire thing, and you'll be able to imagine the experience of being there.
Yeah.
Oh, one more thing. Gabriel and I are going to have our 5-year anniversary. We met for the
What?
first time on May 13th, 2017, and we just realized we're like, oh, we're going to be in Croatia together because the retreat is the 7th to the 11th with
Wow.
and then us and the team, we're going to stay for a few more days until the 14th on the yacht. And the 13th of May is the 5th
Wow.
anniversary after me and
So
Gabe
good.
in Guatemala for the first time. And so we're just like, also like, we realized this yesterday and we were like, what? We're going to be on the Mediterranean cruise ship on a.
Oh my gosh. So good. Well, come celebrate their anniversary and all of our anniversary, our new coming out in 2022, and play with us on the super yacht. So good.
And who knows who you're going to meet there? Maybe this will be a start of somebody that you will have a 5-year anniversary with later. I'm saying this to all of you who are watching. And for those of you who are watching, when you go to the website and feel all the vibes, and if you feel the yes to come and join us and apply for the retreats, there will be a button where you can fill in your details. Mention that you watched this live stream here, because it's always fun to do this synchronicity mapping of how are people finding out, how are people finding their way into this adventure. And so just mention, I was on the live stream. We're going to repost this on YouTube as well. So hello, if you're watching on YouTube, you can mention this live stream as well. And we'll see you in Croatia.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. We'll see you there.
Bye, everyone.